Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is The Cinemile. It's the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today we're going to see The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling, not Reynolds, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. It is a movie based on the world-renowned TV show that Kathy has definitely heard of. From the 60s.
Never heard of it. A TV show called The Fall Guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of it, no.
With your man, the $6 million man.
Right, okay.
That man.
It's funny because we went to the cinema last week and our kids saw the poster and they were like, Ken!
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I actually really like Ryan Gosling, I really like Emily Blunt. I feel like the whole Barbenheimer thing overexposed them both a bit. And I almost feel like it's to the detriment of this film. Because there's only so much press they can do again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where people... I just don't feel like there's much interest in this film. But they're huge, and there should be.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There doesn't seem to be much buzz around this.
Like, Ryan Gosling was basically promoting Barbie for a full year because of the Oscars and everything, as was Emily Blunt with Oppenheimer.
But shouldn't that help this? You're arguing that they're overexposed.
I just feel like this film hasn't got that much publicity.
But Emily Blunt was barely in Oppenheimer, or
she was
barely on the press.
Yeah, but she was all over. No, she was all over the press.
Was she? Okay.
Anyway, I haven't really heard much about this film, but from the kind of brief bit of a trailer I saw in the cinema, I thought it looks fun.
I think it looks great fun. Yeah, I also saw the trailer, kept watching. Looks like a bit of a lark. It's David, I don't know, is it Leitch or Leitch? But he is the co-director of the first John Wick.
Oh, cool.
He's a stunt guy himself. This movie is about a stunt guy.
Okay, that's a very positive sign.
So yeah, I think so. So yeah, and he also directed Deadpool 2, which you haven't seen, which was quite good. And Bullet Train, which neither of us have seen. So we're super informed going into this.
We know of the films.
Yeah. No, but I think he's a very competent action director. Two very charming stars. I mean,
look, it's a summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
It feels like it's actually daylight as we're walking to the cinema at 8:30 at night, which is weird because we rather walk under the cloak of darkness so people don't see us being really weird and talking. I feel like when we leave, because we live in Ireland where it never gets dark in summer, it will still be really bright, but people around us will be drunk then. So they'll notice less. Anyway,
I feel very exposed right now. But you're right, it does feel like summer is here.
Yeah.
This is a summer blockbuster movie.
Kind of kicking off the blockbuster season, I'd say.
Right, so let's watch it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm not the hero of this story. I'm just a stunt guy. Trying to look cool in front of the director of this movie. That's her, who I just so happen to have a major crush on.
We need to keep it super profesh.
Cool. Do you want to make out?
Nope.
Because I don't either. It's not what I'm into right now.
Making out?
Yeah.
What are you into?
Talking.
Yeah.
There's just one little wrinkle.
The star of the movie,
Tom Ryder.
is missing. We need you to find him.
Why me?
You're a stuntman. No one's going to notice whether you're here or not. No offense.
I mean, some taken. Tom?
Full disclosure, he has fallen in with some shady people.
Just checking in on you.
And they're not going to like you sniffing around.
Hello, we're back. We've seen The Fall Guy, and quick correction, it was 1981 to 1986, this TV show. I just looked it up. 'Twas not the 60s. If it's your first time here at the Cinemile, the first thing you should know is we will not spoil the movie The Fall Guy until we get to Spoiler Street. So let's give you our quick impressions. Kathy, what did you think of The Fall Guy? Maybe just give a quick synopsis to what it actually is.
It's about a stuntman, and I don't know. Do I want to give a synopsis? It's about a stuntman who's kind of
I want you to give us
in real life has to do some action because it's like a problem.
Okay, I think we can say.
I'm not giving the plot.
No, I've
synopsis.
seen. It's in the trailer. I
can't remember the trailer.
He is the Ryan Gosling. Damn, Ryan Gosling plays a stuntman who is called to the set of a first-time director who is his former lover Emily Blunt, and he's trying to rekindle things with her. And on a side quest, the main actor who he has stunt doubled for, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson, has gone missing, and he is called upon by the producer to find him.
Okay, I didn't know what or not was in the trailer, but that just sounds like one huge whole lot of spoiler you gave there.
It's not a spoiler.
If it was in the trailer,
that's the premise of the movie.
Fine.
People have just heard it in the trailer.
Okay, then why are we repeating it? So I found it really fun. Definite summer blockbuster vibes. Despite my I've seen too much of Ryan Gosling lately. He was amazing. I love watching him. And we kind of missed in Barbie him as a romantic lead, so it was nice to have that back, because there is no better romantic lead than Ryan Gosling. So I thought he was great, and I think Emily Blunt's really good, and I really enjoy any movie that goes behind the scenes of Hollywood and movie making, and stunts are very interesting. So I totally recommend it as a fun summer blockbuster. Did I think it was about 15-20 minutes too long? Yes. Some of the stunts kind of bored me after a while. But overall, I really enjoyed it.
The stunts bored you?
Just by the end, I was like, okay,
you mean
get
the
on with
action
it.
bored you?
Yeah, there's too much action for me by the end. But I have to say, I had a really good time.
Yeah, same. I thought this was great fun.
And great soundtrack.
Yeah, really good 80s soundtrack. Fun sort of recurring use of I Was Made for Loving You Baby as the sort of the actual bed of the orchestral score. I mean, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt are very charming in this. They work really well together. I thought they had great chemistry. The action scenes are very good. There's a whole bit during the credits where they show you all the behind the scenes of them doing the stunts for real, the stunts pretending to do stunts,
yeah,
and then the stunts for the real action scenes. And it does feel like a love letter to the work that stunt people do. Often unsung, and I mean the plot kind of is somewhat predictable, but there is a plot, and it kind of zips along.
I think the story is quite good. I just think some of it went on a bit long, and I wonder if it was this is just a guess, but might be scenes where they've Ryan Gosling
ad-libbing, or maybe
some of it just felt did someone really sit down and write this?
Yeah,
it's going on a bit.
It's a little bit scrappy and messy, but it outstays its welcome a bit. But I laughed a lot.
Same.
So it's funny. This action is looks good. I think there's a fun sort of fake movie going on in the background, which is kind of taking the piss out of Dune and I don't know what else. Mad Max, maybe. So yeah, there's a lot to like here.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it if you're up for a blockbuster. And our screen was very busy, and a lot of people laughing, so people were enjoying it.
And do you know what I liked when the lights came on? I realised there were a lot of families of 4 or 5 with 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds and their parents, which feels like a good if our kids were older, I'd definitely be happy to bring them to this. Everyone can just enjoy it.
Clean fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It did make me think, before we get to spoilers, about a documentary we watched recently called The Boy Who Lived, and it was the really sad story about Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double who had a really extreme injury on the set of the final Harry Potter movies. And I really recommend the documentary. It's brilliant. It's on Sky. But I think his name was David. But him and Daniel Radcliffe have a really wonderful relationship. So not the same as what Ryan Gosling and Aaron Taylor-Johnson have in this. Though I really enjoyed Aaron Taylor-Johnson in this as well.
It's a lovely documentary, and there are echoes of
really
what happens in this in the real world there.
I'd kind of forgotten how recently we've seen the documentary until we were watching this. But anyway, I think we should go now for spoilers.
Yeah, but so spoilers. Actually, before we go to spoilers for The Fall Guy, we're going to take a quick break. You might hear an ad here. Alright, before we do get into all those juicy Fall Guy spoilers, though, we would both like to, in fact, wish a big thank you and a welcome to a lot of our new patrons over at patreon.com/The Cinemile. So a huge thank you to Maria Gaughan, to Stanley Leto, to Louise, Peter Danbury, Patrice Delahunty, and also to all our many, many patrons who continue to support us over there and support the show. We really love it and appreciate it, and love chatting to you guys in there. We've just done a 2001 A Space Odyssey review in which Kathy realised she does not like Stanley Kubrick one bit. And we are talking TV there every month. We do monthly retro movie reviews. We're going to be talking about Sugar, Baby Reindeer, Palm Springs, X-Men
and-
97.
And a little extra episode on The Idea of You, the Anne Hathaway rom-com from Amazon.
Yes, which Kathy forced me to watch, and you can go hear our thoughts on that over on patreon.com/the cinema. Right, here we are. Spoilers now for The Fall Guy. I don't know what.
I mean, there's not really any spoilers. Like, I think.
Did you guess that Tom? Sorry, what were you going to say?
Like, I think Ryan Gosling is so good, and I wonder if like the film could have nearly even worked with another lead. Because like I was really following him and his character because I really like him, but there was I think the script was very baggy. Like there was so many kind of scenes of him just wandering around.
Yeah, it had.
Like it wasn't very tight, was it?
No, I agree. It's very loose. Do you know the bit where it lost me as an audience member was when the karaoke scene is happening, and she says, "I'll see you at karaoke." He says, "Great, I'd love to be there." Then they cut to all of them in karaoke, and then he's somewhere else talking to a producer and delivering dogs back.
And I'm like, where did he find
And then
her?
they're talking about a phone, and there's a bit of connective tissue that. Is it just me, Kathy?
No, it was missing, yeah.
Where I was like, I don't know
That wasn't set up for us.
what he's doing
that wasn't
or
set up
who
for us.
she is.
Yeah.
And I had to just like catch up my brain to fill in pieces that the movie should have been
Unless we both
presenting.
missed something, but if we both missed it, it probably wasn't signposted very
Yeah,
well, given
so-
like the stakes of the movie.
I
But at the
agree,
same
it's
time,
not very tight.
Emily Blunt singing "Take a Look at Me Now" was so good.
That's
and
it,
I really enjoyed that.
As you say, the actors elevated this. And there are some really funny and memorable scenes
Yeah.
and ideas in here, like the dog. The
French
dog that only
commands.
speaks French
So fun.
was very just like they got a lot out of that joke.
And I
it
loved all the
worked.
stunt stuff. Like I really enjoyed the stunt stuff. But I just felt like right at the end, it was a little bit of a Marvel movie problem. It was like, okay, lads.
One action scene extra.
Stop. Yeah, like there was too much action scene. What I love though, a lot of our listeners might know, but Dave and I lived in Sydney for like 5 years. So much, if not all of this film was like in Sydney, in or around the harbour in the city. It made me really homesick for Sydney. Reminded me how much I want to go back there.
We lived right by
We
the
lived right
the
by
bridge.
the Opera
We
House,
were-
by the harbour bridge. So that was all really amazing. Like you only when you know a city can you tell, boy, they're really filming here, because you recognise like the side streets and like it's not a set. Whereas when I'm watching in cities I don't know, I just never really have a sense of where they've really shot or not. So all the stuff outside the Opera House was like spectacular. This movie must have cost a lot of money to make.
Yeah.
Big budget, I'd say. And I don't know how it's doing in the box office. I'm dying to know. But as I said, our screen was really busy. And of course, you know, Ryan Gosling in particular, as well as Emily Blunt, like, is a huge draw.
I think it's underwhelmed slightly. I don't
Right,
think
okay.
it did what they wanted it to do.
But I think, like, it's such a good idea for a movie. I love that it's like, I never mind when they bring back old TV shows and redo them. I love all the callbacks to like early on in the script when he kind of mentions about the Miami Vice, like his favourite stunt where he could drive a boat with no hands through a ring
Yeah.
of fire, and then later on he gets
When
to
he's doing
do
it
that.
backwards and the
Yeah.
music comes on.
It's so good, yeah. So like, and also just anything that's like set in Hollywood and about Hollywood and like producers and actors and sets and movies, like just love that stuff. It's
I
like
enjoyed a few other things that stood out to me. I enjoyed him and Winston Duke constantly like making movie
I love
quotes
that,
to each
yeah.
other.
It's kind of a movie for movie nerds like us.
Yes.
Like, it's very indulgent, but I appreciated it because I'm in on the indulgency, whereas often I'd be really annoyed when movies are too indulgent
I
like that.
totally agree, and even the scene. I thought when Emily Blunt calls him to ask if they should if split screen is all
Oh my
cat.
god, I love that.
I thought that whole scene was excellent.
Yeah, that was
like,
so good.
not too winky, but just on the right side of sort of meta, and they're like very, very kind of funny and charming.
It got me thinking about filmmaking as well, and TV making in particular is very guilty of this at the moment. I don't know if it's a cost thing or what, but so many TV shows and some movies show you actors on the phone. Actually, an Irish Witch was very guilty of this. They're on the phone to another actor who's on a
Irish
screen,
Witch?
right? Remember the Irish Witch when Lindsay Lohan
Oh,
was
Irish
constantly
Witch,
on the
sorry.
phone to Jane Seymour. So they'll show
yeah.
you like an actor talking to a phone, and you're watching someone watch a screen, and it's so uncinematic and ugly looking They should all be doing split screen phone calls like that. Like, I appreciate you sometimes want characters to be speaking to each other and they're not on screen together.
It really lifts it,
Use
doesn't
the
it?
split screen. So I was like in there like giving Emily Blunt's director character notes like, yes, use the split screen. It's great. So yeah, I think all that stuff was really good.
Yeah, David kind of Leitch, don't know how to say it, sorry David.
I actually saw it and thought it was Leitch.
It could be Leitch. I think,
Or
like,
like-
he knows what he's doing, strong director. A few other things that stood out to me, I know you are really anti-drug sequences when anyone is high, but I thought the ones
one was good.
in this movie
Yeah.
were excellent. Like
Because it was still what was happening. The difference is though what was happening.
he was still
him-
lucid.
He was still the stuff that was happening when he was on drugs was actually happening. Bar that he was hallucinating a
The
unicorn.
unicorn
It's
gag
when things
was
happen
good.
that aren't happening, and you're watching something going, but I know this isn't happening. The character,
I
this
know
is
what
so
you mean.
boring.
And but I thought the way that they executed the hand-to-hand fight scene in the nightclub through his eyes, with every time a punch connects, there's this like sparkly like
Yeah, that
little
was awesome.
explosion.
I love that.
I've never seen that before, and
I
that
actually didn't
that
see
was
the-
really effective.
I didn't see the twist coming about Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Like, obviously we knew
No,
the
neither did
producer
I.
was
To
up
be
to
fair.
something
Yeah,
dodgy.
the producer was obviously in on it
and
from
she
the
was
start.
great. We haven't mentioned her, Hannah Waddington from
Yeah, Waddingham, is it? Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. She's very good in this. But yeah, we kind of knew she was up to no good, but actually covering up murder was a step too far.
No, I knew from the start she was in on his disappearance. But for me, I thought, because I whispered to you halfway through it, I thought it was the plot of The Producers, where she needed the movie to fail to make money, and she had organised for him to go missing, or was responsible for him missing. So I
Which
hadn't
could've made
guessed
sense,
the
yeah.
murder or the.
This is a Universal movie, not a Warner Brothers movie. They're the ones who can on their films, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, I think like there's loads to like about it. Good summer blockbuster. Will I ever watch it again? No.
Yeah, same. It's fine.
It's
Like
fine, though.
we
Yeah, I
sometimes
have
you
no
just
problem with
need disposable, fun Saturday night
Yeah, and I
entertainment.
think Aaron
that
Taylor-Johnson was
delivered.
very fun when he was doing his what has to have been a Matthew McConaughey impression, as he was doing the Space Cowboy.
seemed like it.
All very enjoyable. I thought he was really good as well. Like,
Metal
it's a very
Storm.
fun cast, and also like just the watching a film. You know, you're sometimes watching a film and the lead character is doing such ridiculous things, and you're rolling eyes because you're like, no one could do this. But when you make a stunt guy your main character, it adds such a layer of fun to the film, because
Yeah.
like Ryan Gosling, the character he's playing will just like, oh, of course he'd jump on a truck and then like jump up a ladder and then be like scaling a building and then doing all these things because he's a stunt guy. And I really enjoyed when like the baddies are trying to attack him and they're like, you're like, no, he's a stunt guy, like you can't attack him because he can just do everything.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
found that really fun. What I found completely unbelievable is that he broke his back and we see him 18 months later.
and he's
and
ripped.
He's the most ripped person I've ever seen in my life.
How's he working out
It's
with a
ridiculous.
broken back?
And then, but also there's some sort of implication, like he's really down on his luck and he's kind of like depressed and he's a valet. But did I buy that? No.
No,
He
I didn't
really
either.
bad
And-
wig on, like he
And
was
also,
so jacked. I was like, you're telling me this is a down and out somebody broke their back, and he was like not looking after himself, because this man is doing nothing but working out.
you're so right. That didn't. No way did the movie sell that.
No.
They at no point post that injury did he ever present like a man who had a serious
They
back
had
injury.
one thing where he had one little gadget on his back, but even the fact that he got
throughout
on
the whole movie, we never got a sort of, oh my god,
oh no,
I shouldn't be doing
never.
that, you know.
And like, so he gets on a flight to Sydney, which is a brutal flight. Then he gets off, goes straight to work. We are to believe that in this $1 billion like Dune level production, that like they don't even do a run through on the stunts.
Well,
before
to
the
be
stuntman shows
fair,
up.
they said we only have one take of this.
Yeah, but they've one take with the pyrotechnics. You do loads of dry runs.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
do, like, this is not the 60s, like.
yeah.
And then later on, they're like, oh, we've got 3 hours and 50 minutes of film in front of the Opera House. And then they seem to just create the fights on the spot. I'm like, this would have been coordinated for like 8 weeks at least.
Yeah,
So that stuff, I was like,
there
if
would
you're
be a
gonna-
fight choreographer, but it seemed to be like
If you're going
him.
to pull the curtain back on the stuntman world, then do it properly, like.
Yeah.
I
also liked when she was when she kept setting him on fire at the beginning, and when they dumped the reason what had happened between them through that
that
public
was funny,
exchange.
but it just went on a bit too long.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
it was funny. Anyway, we better go.
Before we do one last thing, one thing that was bothering me and that's why I looked up the TV show, which I've never seen, was having seen that movie, I was like, was this a TV show in the 80s? Because TV shows in the 80s had to have, every episode was the same. But I was like, what, are they just shooting a different TV? Is there a mystery every week? Is it like Murder, She Wrote? Does he solve a murder every week? There's always a murder on set, or what is it? Would you like to guess? Because I now know the answer.
No, just tell me.
So he and Jodie, who is a stunt woman in the TV show and is the woman that showed up next to Lee Majors at the end of this movie, they both moonlight as bounty hunters in the evening after they have
so they're just amazing action stars.
Yeah, because they use their skills to make money catching criminals, which
wow, that sounds awful.
It doesn't not very appealing. There's better 80s
that being
TV shows
said,
out
we
there.
need to go on YouTube because I'm sure there's episodes of it and watch them.
And surely that was the theme song that they played at the end.
I don't think so, because I think it was too good a song to have been a theme song in the 80s.
Excuse me, Kathy, are you're telling me that you seem to be implying that the quality of 80s TV theme songs is low, which is wildly inaccurate.
It just sounded
Have
really...
you heard Knight Rider? Have you heard the A-Team? Miami Vice, you heard it in this movie.
I did, yeah.
Absolute banger after banger after banger after banger.
We're talking instrumentals though, right? This is a fully produced
ballad. You don't think in a decade where they produce power ballad after power ballad, where Bonnie Tyler came in, and all the songs you heard in that movie, you don't think they could have written I'm just a fall guy falling around?
Well, they could have, yeah. We should have checked this before we started recording, because we will have to find out
obviously
afterwards.
It's the real
I
thing.
don't think it was. We shall look it up.
Well, I look forward to you being proven incorrect by all the people writing to us at thecinemile@gmail.com.
Nice, very nice.
Or Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, YouTube at The Cinemile. Send Kathy the link to the YouTube video of this TV show.
But most importantly,
Yes.
wherever you listen to the podcast, please leave us a review. It's really important. If you rate, subscribe, like, people wonder why podcasters ask them to do that, because it makes a really big difference to the podcaster. So we know way more people.
We just want to know how much you love us.
I know, but we know way more people listen to the podcast than leave reviews. So we'd really appreciate it, particularly if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Just hit those 5 stars, baby.
Or tell a friend.
Tell a friend, yeah, even better.
We want more friends.
Right, and let us know what you thought of the Fall Guy. Bye.
Bye.
One last stunt. Going down in a blaze of glory.
We need a big finale.